Swatch.
Welcome to more live coverage from the 2003 Swatch FIVB World Tour. We're going to focus on the men's event for the next hour here at the Norwegian Open in the beautiful port town of Stavanger. We're down to the last 16 men's teams in the main draw. The pool phase is over and it's straight knockout from here on in. The team's potentially 3 matches away from a place in the final here in Norway. I'm Simon Golding, thanks for joining me once again, and you'll be glad that you did. We've got everything in this featured match. The enigmatic Americans, the flying Hawaiians of Kevin Wong and Stein Metzger, up against Stavanger's very own modern-day Norseman. Local boys Jore Andre Kjemperud, and in your picture, Vegard the Viking Høydalen. Makes it sound like a WWF contest, doesn't it? Well, it's not far off, I can tell you. The local support here has really gone up a notch since the women's semi-finals earlier today, and it's a beautiful day in Stavanger. This is easily the hottest temperatures we've had for this, the 5th running of the Norwegian Open from this port town. Now then, in the red vests are the local boys, the local heroes. Jore Andre Kjemperud, just serving and going out of your picture, and his playing partner, Vegard Høydalen, currently ranked 8th in the world, and they'll be up against the 2 boys from Honolulu. The former schoolmates, known each other since they were 13 years old and have been playing volleyball with each other for nearly as long as that. Played together at the University of Hawaii, along with Nick Berger, the Austrian player who also plays on this beach volleyball world tour. Now, we haven't seen a lot from Stein Metzger and Kevin Wong so far. They burst onto the tour back in 1999, where they've made 3 finals since, including that big win in 2001 in Start. But since then, they've had mixed fortunes. They're usually there or thereabouts, but it really depends on how Stein Metzger behaves himself on court. He really is a character. And the guy wearing the #1 vest, just hitting off that set from Kevin Wong. He's the guy that does all the defence for this American team. If he's on form, then he is just one of the most spectacular beach volleyball athletes you could ever wish to see. But unfortunately, with the form comes this tendency to start to enjoy himself a little too much. He gets stuck in with the crowd, he gets them on side, and I wouldn't mind betting that Stein Metzger manages to get some of these Norwegians on side, even though they're playing against the home team. And Metzger, unfortunately, when he does that, he just tends to lose a little bit of focus, and that sets Kevin Wong off. Kevin Wong gets a little bit annoyed with him. But Wong himself is a terrific athlete, 2 meters and tall. Could have been a professional tennis player if he wanted, but decided to plump for beach volleyball, and it's been a good decision. Vegard Høydalen then, and in the #2 red vest for Norway. Vegard 1 meter 93 centimeters tall. He's a special needs teacher by profession, but since 1995 he's been turning his attentions to this Swatch FIVB World Tour. And again, it's possible for him to play as a full-time professional because of the levels of prize money now available in the sport. The FIVB really have done a terrific job getting things together. Well, the jazz dancers that we had earlier have been replaced by our line dancers, and they really are putting on a terrific show as Jore Andre Kjemperud and Vegard Høydalen just take a few minutes out of the sun on those timeout sofas, as do the Hawaiians, Kevin Wong and Stein Metzger. We got a terrific match lined up for you here live on Eurosport. The men's last 16 round, chance to qualify through to the quarter-finals. And there's Andrea Haas, the Olympic referee, and she'll be partnered by Daryl Friesen, the second referee.
Baby, there's something about you that I can't hold on to. I'm gonna hold on to that. Baby, there's something about you that I can't hold on to. I'm gonna hold on to that. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming, yeah. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming.
Welcome to live coverage of this last 16 men's match here at the Norwegian Open in Stavanger. It's centre court action here on the Swatch FIVB World Beach Volleyball Tour 2003. And wearing those turquoise vests coming out onto court, the American team of Kevin Wong and Stein Metzger, and they have got a tough old day on their hands today. The team that are ranked 19th on the World Tour will be up against the team in the red vests from Norway, the hometown boys. Vegard Høydalen in the number 2 vest, and his playing partner Jorge André Schemperud. 34 years old is Schemperud in the number 1 vest, and he has to have the shortest journey of any of the players to any of the World Tour events. It takes him precisely 4 minutes to walk from his house to the centre court here in Stavanger. And boy, the home crowd are loving this. It's been a while since they've seen these two playing at the top of their form, and Schemperud, who's been battling with a few injuries, a couple of shoulder injuries and a back injury, he says he's back and he says he's fit and ready to play. And this match featuring all the athletes at 30 years or over, the 2 Americans both 30 years old at the start of this season, and Høydalen is 32, and as we've said, Schemperud 34. So the first set of this best of 3 set match, and it is going to be Kevin Wong, who I must say is looking pretty lean this year. Lost a little bit of weight, has Wong, and that's why, because the Hawaiians are deciding to play this 50-50 game. Now that's not something we see from them at all. Kevin Wong comes through to block on every occasion. Stein Metzger will do all the defence. But it looks this year as if Wong's going to try his hand out in backcourt and Metzger's going to have a go at the net. And that just helps them unload a bit on their serves. Good save from Jorge André Schemperud, but Wong keeps it in play. Vegard this time making that play. Good cross-court spike from him. And we just apologise. Just a couple of problems there with our live satellite feed. You didn't miss anything at all. Norwegians levelling it at 1-1 after that huge shot from Høydalen. Can't control the shot, and the ball goes out over the sideline. So 1-1 in this first set. Best of 3 sets. The first 2 sets are going to go to 21 points, rally points. So just like tennis, you score on every single rally of the game. If it does go to 1 set all, then we'll be into our deciding 3rd set to 15 points. And that's where things can get pretty exciting. But the excitement level is way up here in this last 16 round. Great save from Wong off the net. Good swing from Metzger. That's impressive stuff from Stein Metzger, the architecture student at the University of Hawaii. That's what he wants to do when he finishes his playing career, and that's a nice shot from him. Not the tallest man on the tour, but has one of the best jumps, and will he start showing off for the fans? We'll see. If he makes a couple of good rally plays, then that's the potential of Stein Metzger. He really does get into the party atmosphere, but as Kevin Wong will tell you, his partner, sometimes that costs them games. But at the moment, Metzger keeping it quiet, playing cool. And it is Metzger with the serve. Well, Høydalen gets stuffed by Kevin Wong, and no wonder the crowd are quiet. This is a shaky start from the Norwegians. Vegard, who is the players' representative, he is the man that talks between the players and the FIVB, the world governing body of volleyball, and a very good job he does of that too. Great kill there, good job this time on the court from Vegard, that's where it matters. Good set from Schemperud, but there's the man, these blonde, gingery blonde locks coming out the bottom of his cap. They call him the Viking, and he loves it, plays up to the name whenever he can. Mean and moody customer is Vegard Høydalen. Well, good touch on the block, but at the moment not getting enough height out of the sand to really threaten Kevin Wong, the tallest player on the court. At 2 meters, 6'7". Vegard's going to have to get a little bit higher than that if he's going to slow the spikes down from the big American. Things really cooking then on this centre court here in Stavanger. The last 16 of the men's event here at the Norwegian Open on the Swatch FIVB Beach Volleyball World Tour. Jorge André Schemperud put on hold a business career, did Schemperud, and as he comes to the end of his playing career, he's starting to talk about returning to business. He reckons that playing on the World Tour has enabled him to network contacts all over the world, and he really can't wait to get to the Olympics, play in those, and I think move on after the Olympics into his career as a businessman. But as he said, he's a very lucky man, as are most of the athletes on this tour. He's been able to pursue his lifestyle dream of playing beach volleyball. Very few of these players will view this sport as a job. They just love to be on the tour. A great shot from Vegard. Well, a huge chance taken from Metzger on that cross court. And still Vegard manages to find a line inside the defence of Steinmetzger. There's the score. Metzger and Wong leading by 2 points now in this first set. And the Norwegian crowd will try everything they can to inspire the Norwegians, and that's inspired Vegard Høydalen to a great play. Oh, superb defence from the Norwegian. And the Viking is flying. Great pick-up from Vegard. We're not used to seeing that a lot from this man. He tends to be another net player like Kevin Wong, but that's a great finish. Puts the big man Wong under pressure, and Wong doesn't move as well as some of the other smaller, nippier players. And they bring themselves back to within 1 point. 21 points to target then in the first of the 2 sets that we'll see played here. But Høydalen, who used to be rated as the best server in the world until the court size changed. They lost a metre off all the edges of the court. 8 by 8 now, each side of the net. And Vegard Høydalen has struggled really with his service ever since. But surprisingly, Jørgen Schemperud, his partner, has taken over as the #1 server. Now the crowd giving Andrea Haas the bird. Andrea Haas, the Olympic referee from Sydney 2000, just explaining that she felt the Americans touched the ball on their side of the net. If they played the ball over the net, which these players are capable of doing because of their height and their jumps and their reach, then it would have been an illegal play. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an illegal play. Well, that's a shame. Andrea Haas not picking that one up, but the ball had not crossed the net before Steinmetzger touched it. So the Americans, just a little let off for them. Good line shot from Høydalen. That's the way to respond. You don't want to get involved too much in debating a decision, not this early on in a set. It's important that you get back and make your side out. And that's what the Norwegians have to do. They have to keep trading in this match with the Americans. And we know that Kevin Wong and Steinmetzger do get a little bit tight in the crunch phases of the match. And that's when the Norwegians will hope to take advantage. The weather here in Stavanger, just glorious. The sun glistening on the shoulders of Jørgen Schemperud. The shoulders that have produced some of the finest ace serving on the Swatch FIVB World Tour. And it is another ace for Schemperud. Høydalen, with the signals behind his back, he's signalling a 1 finger on each side, which means it's going to be a line block on each side. Pressure on the pass from Wong. He stays in for the line, but Wong finds it. Not sure why they're going to Wong at the moment. A lot of teams will do that. They will serve the best player early on in a set, and then they will change up to the player that they think they can get points off. And because their side-out games are so good, they will keep winning the right to serve. So it's not a silly tactic by any means. And they're obviously just trying to keep Steinmetzger in the cold for the moment. And this is a line game at the moment. Line, line, line. The last 3 side-out shots. Vegard Høydalen clearly being targeted by the Americans early on. He's come up with some good side-outs. Well, they really fancy making defensive plays off Kevin Wong. And Kevin Wong's one of those characters that, to be quite honest, if you do get on his case like this, he responds really well. He's not one of the guys that will walk away from the challenge. He tends to feel, as do many of the players that train and play in California, he tends to get quite annoyed if he gets served a lot. And he's determined to come back stronger and tougher on each play. Schemperud goes cross-court for the side-out, and this is good beach volleyball. here in Stavanger. This is what this Swatch FIVB World Tour is all about. And the knowledgeable fans here in Stavanger, a massive party going on this weekend. This is right in the middle of their 2 weeks of warm weather that they have each year, which is why this particular weekend was chosen for the Beach Volleyball World Tour to come to town. But it's also a massive Norwegian festival, so there's 200,000 people flock down to this port town on the southwest of Norway. There's Metzger having a little joke. They're starting to creep in. He can't help himself. As Jori-André Schemperud just clears a few holes away on his path to the net. Stein Metzger pretends he's going to serve. But he can't serve, of course, until the whistle has gone. And it's an ace serve. Well, good composure from Metzger, kept his focus very well. And Vegard makes another passing error. That's a couple from him, and that's a little bit worrying. So timeout as the players come back to those huge orange inflatable sofas in the timeout area. Jori-André Schemperud, a really great guy, one of the nicest players you'll ever meet on the tour. He blends perfectly with the moody aggression of Vegard Høydalen, and they've worked so well as a team, as indeed have the Americans. Kevin Wong debuted back in '95 with Carl Henkel, and then went on to partner Rob Heijer, and in the '98 season, '99 seasons, they got some good results, including a second in Rosarito Beach in Mexico. And then in '99, the end of that season, he dumped Heijer, teamed up with Stein Metzger. A lot of people questioned that decision. Metzger had done nothing on the tour until then. But as it turned out, it was the Hawaiian connection, the fact that they'd known each other for years. And Kevin Wong felt that he knew how to deal with Stein Metzger. Although he will tell you in press conferences that he frequently drives him mad. The pair used to share a house together when they were at the University of Hawaii, and Metzger was forever bringing stuff back to the house. He wanted to keep an iguana at one stage. The iguana escaped. Kevin Wong woke up in the middle of the night with an iguana on his head, and they had a slight falling out after that incident. But Wong knows that he knows the man Metzger better than most. And that's a good side out from Vegard. That was dangerous because Wong was jumping right into the cross court. That's the thing he does best. And as he launches himself off the line into the cross court, Vegard keeps his height on the shot. Perfect. The 2 points difference still in favour of the USA, as the crowd here in Stavanger try to keep the home boys, the local boys, going in this game. And that must be 5 service errors now from the Norwegians, and with service errors it's just 3 points being handed over to the opposition. They can't afford to keep doing this. Kevin Wong and Stein Metzger will just be accepting those gifts readily. Great shot from Vegard Høydalen, and there's just a little illustration that Kevin Wong really is new to his defensive role. As he goes across court, he should have been trying to play the ball with his left hand on that line, but he tries to play the ball with his right hand, and that means he's got himself all out of shape, and there's no way he can bring the ball back into play. But he'll know that. He's a fantastic coach, is Kevin Wong. Coaches a lot of camps during the year for kids over in the USA. Will certainly benefit American beach volleyball in terms of future generations. Well, the USA not having any luck really going to Jori-André Schemperud since recovering from his injuries. A man that could have been a professional golfer on the European tour, playing very, very well out there at the moment on court, and making a lot of his side outs look very casual, a lot of his points look very casual. And that's what good beach volleyball should look like. So the crowd acknowledging the fact the Norwegians are back within 1 point. Vegard, as usual, looks totally fed up. He's not. He loves his job. Schemperud to serve. Great work from Metzger. That's clever play from Stein Metzger. I watched him train in Hermosa Beach a couple of years ago, and the thing that struck me was that he would train for about 45 minutes and then he'd be going off for a meal with friends. He'd train for another 45 minutes and another group of friends would turn up, he'd head off for another meal. I must have seen him eat about 4 or 5 main meals during the course of the day before coming over and telling us all that he was off home for some dinner. But that's the way this sport is. You burn up so much energy while you're out there on the beach in the sun that you have to keep feeding your body. Carbohydrate-rich diets is the order of the day at the tournaments. You'll see these guys cramming bowls and bowls full of pasta in before and after matches to try and keep that energy level up in the muscles. When they're not doing that, they're consuming litres of fluid. And Stavanger, of course, by no means the warmest event on the whole of the tour. In fact, it's the coldest. Despite temperatures today, the early morning matches can be pretty chilly. The warm-up for the women's semi-finals this morning at 8 o'clock, they're out there in just 14 degrees. The Brazilians had coats on and everything. Kevin Wong then. We're starting to move towards the business end of this first set. And as we do so, the Norwegians keep trading, and it's becoming free side outs really against Kevin Wong. That's something the Americans don't want. I think they're going to have to think about Kevin Wong serving and sprinting into the net to perform the function he does best, the blocking function. 14-15, Norway trail. Kjemperud, another service error, but you can see how far inside the baseline that serve was, and he gets such a good angle because he's got such a big jump that that's where his ace serves come from, but he's still missing the court more often than not. Metzger to restart the game for the USA. They lead 16-14 in set one. Our live coverage of the last 16 phase. Once again, complete silence in the stadium as Kevin Wong stuff blocks Vegard Højdahl, and that's what we said has to happen. Wong has to take more control at the net. And, not good for Norway now. 3 points the difference, that's a problem. Good pick up from Metzger. Oh, great recycle from Kjemperud. But then he just goes with a wild cross-court shot. And as so often happens in the sport of beach volleyball, the stronger team on the day will pull away around about the 15-16 point mark. And in relative ease, Stein Metzger in your picture there and his partner Kevin Wong have moved into a commanding lead in this first set. There goes the little joke. Kevin Wong is so good with Stein Metzger when he gets into these moves, and don't get me wrong, I mean, he's so entertaining. Stein Metzger, when he gets on a roll, he's one of the funniest men I've ever seen, and the crowd love it, but it does affect his beach volleyball from time to time. Now, the other thing Stein Metzger does very well, plays guitar, and you can often see the players relaxing on one of the hotel balconies. One of my fondest memory was down at the Italian Open a couple of years ago in Lignano, and just listening to Stein Metzger playing his guitar, actually playing and singing Bob Marley's Redemption song, sat on the balcony in Italy with the sun going down, a nice cool beer, only one of course, in my hand. And that's an enduring memory from this Swatch FIVB World Tour. Timeout then is over. The Norwegians have stopped the match for as long as they are allowed within the rules. They come back out now onto court. We've changed the line dancers. What looks like Stavanger's answer to Saga dancers. A big serve from Metzger right into the net. Wow, disappointment there for Metzger, and he lost his focus in that timeout. 18 points to 15. Still not a problem for the USA. They need to trade a point here, and they do. Vegard Højdahl, and the blocker of the Norwegian team, the outspoken player's rep, is not happy at the moment. His blocking is not going well. Oh, I just love the atmosphere here in Stavanger. Everybody getting involved. They changed the dancers over Time and time again, all the local dance groups get a shot at the action. And it's fantastic here. All the TV stars, all the sports stars like to turn out for this event. And that's what it's about, supporting Norwegian sport. And amongst the Norwegian sportsmen that have really been impressive over the last decade are the Norwegian beach volleyball players. Started, of course, in the early 90s by Bjorn Masseid, the tournament promoter here, and his partner Jan Falheim. And then these guys, Høydalen and Kjemperud, who've been in the shadow for so long of Kvalheim and Masseid. They finally got to step out in the late 90s and start to make results of their own, including that great bronze medal at the World Championships in 2001 in Klagenfurt. So, set point in set number 1. A block by Kevin Wong, but now Kjemperud with a chance to kill. Easy pickings there for Stein Metzger. Great play from Norway to keep in it. But as the ball comes back over the net, Kevin Wong is able to just joust the ball into court, and the Americans take the first set, I would say, in relative ease from the Norwegians, and that's got to be a worry for the home crowd. The Norwegian team that finished 5th here last year, if they don't pick their game up, then they certainly are not going to repeat that result. We're going to take a short break now from the action here in Stavanger. We'll be back in a few minutes with the second set live. Don't go away. Welcome back to live beach volleyball action here on Eurosport from the Swatch FIVB World Tour 2003. We're at the last 16 stage of the men's event here in Stavanger at the Norwegian Open. And the first set, 21 points to 16 in favour of the USA, Wong and Metzger. It was a little too easy, I'm sorry to say. And the Norwegian home crowd are very disappointed indeed. They will keep clapping, cheering, dancing, singing all day long if it means that they're encouraging their athletes out there on court. But at the moment, Høydalen and Kjemperud have looked at a shadow of their former brilliant selves. 2000, 2001, 2002, really the glory years for this team. Oh dear, that's a nasty incident. Andrea Haas will consult with the second referee. She's been very strong about this. She's awarded the ball out. There is no centre line in beach volleyball, so you are able to come under the net, but the rule is you must not interfere with the other player. Now, what Høydalen is saying is that he had an opportunity to play that ball before Stein Metzger unceremoniously dumped him on the floor. But as Andrea Haas quite rightly points out, the ball hit the aerial and that was therefore out. So regardless of what happened to Vegard, unfortunately that point was over. And there's another point that's over. This is not Vegard Høydalen's day. He's been stuffed again by Kevin Wong. And he didn't even get any heat on it. The man that used to hit the most powerful spikes on this world tour. He's just struggling a little out on the sand. Well, while we're in the early stages of this second set, in this best of 3 set match, Kevin Wong gets another block. I'm going to bring you just a couple more results. Good side out from Kjemperud. Flirts a little with the baseline. Let's just bring you up to date. All the pool matches are over now, and through to the last 16, Blanton and Nygaard of the USA. The winners in Rhodes, of course, the new team out on the tour from the USA. They are back in business. They've made the last round, and they're up against Belaguarda and Dutra Jr. of Brazil. The first time we've seen Belaguarda and Dutra in this sort of phase of a competition since their bronze medal success back in Brazil at the last tournament of last year. Also through are Berg and Dahl of Switzerland. That's the first time they've been out of the pools for quite some while, and they had a tremendous win over the Brazilian Wonder Boys of Ricardo and Emmanuel, who have yet to deliver as a team on this tour. The ball close to the line and just clipping the edge of the line. That was awarded in. Now also a couple of other names that we've seen through to the last 16 for the first time. Prosser and Williams of Australia. Julian Prosser, of course, splitting with his long-time partner last year, Julian Zana. And Lee Zana, sorry, my mistake, sorry Lee. Lee Zana deciding to stay back home with his new wife back in Australia. Prosser staying on the World Tour with Mark Williams, and they finally started to look like they're doing the business. And Christian Diekman, the twin brother of Marcus Diekman, the guys that we saw get to last week's semi-finals in Berlin, along with his partner Jonas Reckerman. Well, Christian Diekmann, along with his partner Schöpflug, they've got through to the last 16 as well. And news of Marcus Diekmann's injury, the abdominal strain that he picked up last week. That's why they are absent from this week's tournament. Looks like he's just going to take a week off and then he'll be fit for the next Grand Slam down in Marseille. Back to the action then, and it looks like Schemperud and Hoydalen just waking things up. 4 points all, but as we said, the better team on the day will tend to emerge at around about 15 all. But that's not counting for the terrific home support here in Stavanger. What a huge shot from Metzger, cross court. Metzger does tend to play with no inhibitions whatsoever. He flies around the court, and when he does have his opportunity to hit, he hits very hard indeed. Great shooting from Metzger, the 30-year-old from Honolulu. And a great ace from him again. The indication for you guys watching at home that America have scored a point is the fact that there's complete silence. It almost sounds like we've lost our audio on the transmission. The Norwegian crowd just going quiet every time USA score a point. And the shouting has started. Good swing from Hoydalen, but he's living on the edge at the moment. The Norwegians have come off a whole winter of training in Tenerife with their great pals Martin Conde and Barasetti of Argentina. Both those players, of course, based over in Tenerife. And Hoydalen saying that it's the best winter's training they've ever done, but at the moment, not really paying dividends. And if they go out at this stage, then they'll be performing well below their 8th seeding. The USA, Wong and Metzger, they've certainly been performing below par so far on this tour. Their Swatch FIVB World Tour ranking is 19, and that's the lowest it's ever been as a team. Good line shot. Nice work from Jori-André Schemperud. Whereas Hoydalen and Schemperud have tended to be in the shadow of Masid and Kvalheim, it's Jori-André Schemperud that tends to be in the shadow of Veigar. Veigar, this dynamic character, tends to nick all the headlines, but it is Schemperud, the defensive genius, who gives them a lot of their results with that type of play and with his terrific serving. So the teams change ends, as we've already established in beach volleyball. The teams change ends on multiples of 7 points, and that's purely and simply to make sure that there are no advantages from the conditions. Wind, sun, the structure of the grandstand. The teams having to change round every 7, and it's not a good change for the Norwegians as Veigar once again makes a mistake. Straight into the block of Kevin Wong. It's not an inconsiderable block, I have to admit, but Veigar's a better player than that. So 3 points opened up a little bit earlier than the first set, and a timeout quite wisely called by the Norwegian #1 pairing, and they retire to that timeout area. And there's Schemperud doing what he does so well. He talks to Veigar Hoydalen all the time. He keeps encouraging him, he keeps moving him along, and he doesn't let the man get entrenched in his own feelings. And the reason behind that is that when Veigar does play positive and does play aggressive and strong, he is one of those sorts of players that will give you 5 or 6 points on the bounce. And if they picked up 5 or 6 coming out of this timeout, then they would certainly be back in contention. So Veigar is talked off the sofa by Schemperud. And that is Veigar's personality. He's always like this, just very down on himself, down on his game sometimes. But that's the way he plays, and it's served him well enough so far. Whereas Metzger and Wong, really the opposite of that. Much more bouncy, much more noisy. And if they make it through this round, then I know for a fact that these will be the new Stavanger favourites in terms of the crowd. And that's when Metzger will start to enjoy things. So straight into the net from Metzger, and the timeout is a good one. A point scraped by the Norwegian team. Well, terrific. 4,000 people, they can get into this Stavanger Centre Court Stadium. Another miss by Kjemperud. Kjemperud is running out of time now. He's got to get his serve going. If this Norwegian team are going to progress, then it's really down to Kjemperud and his serve. He has to start making them points. He has to stop giving them away to the USA team. The signals complex from Stein Metzger, telling his partner Kevin Wong what he's doing at the net. But this is a free side out as much as it can be against Kevin Wong. Kevin Wong, not the best or most mobile of defensive players, and the Norwegians have realised that. So they're picking their shot and they're making sure they hit it with pace. That's all you got to do. Hit your corners, hit your lines, but hit with pace. And that's enough to beat Kevin Wong. Great chip shot from Kevin Wong, but it looks as if Vegard has forced that back onto the American side, and he has. No wonder the announcer is going mad in the background. It's finally starting to happen for Høydalen and Kjemperud, and it's all come about because of the timeout. 9-10, they trail in this second set. Good touch from Kjemperud. And he gives a little shout to Vegard then, quite rightly too, because this second hit from Metzger was on the floor. It passed an inch over the net, and that should have been stuff blocked by Vegard. He'd gone to sleep on that plate. 30-year-old Stein Metzger, based in Honolulu, with the serve. Good cross-court shot. That's better from Vegard. He hits that rainbow shot very, very well. Reminiscent of Rob Kittlety, one of the former champions on the UK Beach Volleyball Tour. Same build, same look to him. And they both hit this great rainbow cross-court shot. That's good to see from Vegard. That shows a return to some side-out form. But whatever they do, they still can't seem to get a start. They still can't seem to get a lead. Well, the dancing continues here in the Centre Court Stadium in Stavanger. Live coverage here on Eurosport of the round of last 16. There is Masaid, the younger sister of Bjorn Masaid, the promoter. She also plays on the World Tour. Very good player in her own right with her partner Nesta. And it is the Masaid family that act as hosts each year for all of the players. They get all of the players, they get all of the staff involved with the whole of this event onto a ferry, and we trek 45 minutes across one of the fjords, a little bit of the North Sea, onto their own private island, and have a fantastic party and barbecue. And that's one of the things that makes this event so special for the Norwegians. The other thing, of course, is the quality of the beach volleyball. And Vegard Høydalen finally picks up a stuff block on Stein Metzger. That's better from Vegard. Really gets some extension out of the sand, gets his hands right over the net into the court space of the American hitter. And it's 11 points all in this second set. Well, that's bizarre. I can't say I agree with that. Stein Metzger is the best setter on the World Tour, full stop, and I'm not going to accept any arguments on that point. The guy has got beautiful hands, and Andrea Haas has responded to a complaint from Vegard Høydalen on the previous point that he felt the setting of Stein Metzger was suspect, and she's blown the whistle and given 2 touches on Stein Metzger. I don't think Stein Metzger could set 2 touches in his sleep, let alone when he's fully conscious and playing like this on the World Tour. That's a tough call from Andrea Haas, and we'll see how Stein Metzger, the former setter, by the way, that might give you a clue as to why he's a good setter for the University of Hawaii. And it is going to be Stein Metzger who sets again. I like that, Stein, well done. Just carries on, business as usual. And no difference between that set and the last, the only difference being the referee didn't blow the whistle. Look at the ball. You can read the maker's name on the ball when it's in the air. There isn't a single rotation on Metzger's sets, ever. Well, I think I've laboured the point well enough there. Needless to say, I think Steinmetzger's a good setter. Anyway, Kevin Wong gets a lucky ace serve. Kevin Wong, one of the players, while he's training in California, that you'll meet down in Miami. Sorry, not down in Miami. Down the coast at Manhattan Beach at the place they call The Wall. Just near the pier at Santa Monica Beach. A good chase by Metzger under the net, tries to bring that back into play. Off goes the hat into the crowd. And I think Metzger just can't resist a little bit of drama. As the ball is hit, Wong makes the dig. Now Metzger is able to chase this under the net, and providing he brings that back outside of the referee's stand, that's still in play. And such is the temperament of this man that he throws his hat into the crowd in disgust because he can't make what would have been one of the plays of the decade, let alone the season. And the hat, he has to go and fetch a new one from his bag. The crowd aren't going to give that souvenir back. And Wong makes the play again. Yeah, the wall that we were talking about, beach volleyball court right up against a brick wall down on the seafront. That's Santa Monica, just off the boulevard there. And Kevin Wong, one of the players that will dominate that court. Basically, you play, you win. If you win, you stay on. If you lose, you get off. If you lose, then you don't get back on there for a very, very long time. It's an absolutely brutal place to learn your beach volleyball. Another good chase, but another good point. And this is better from the Norwegians overall. The change of ends happen again. The Norwegian flags are out and waving in force. There are hundreds of games like this on every single Swatch FIVB World Tour event. Always in this fantastic party atmosphere. And if you want to come and see some beach volleyball, well, you can do a lot worse than turn up in Stavanger. Beautiful place to come and watch beach volleyball. A slightly unusual location, yes, I'll grant you. But good accommodation here. A fantastic party. Hundreds of thousands of people around the harbour, generating an incredible atmosphere. But it's such a friendly place to be. The Norwegians so delighted that you've taken the time to come to their fourth largest city to visit them. And it's a very rewarding experience indeed. Good lead then from Hoydalen. Good eye from him as the ball sails out over the baseline. As the dancers do their bit in the background to raise the spirits of Vegard Hoydalen, he comes back to the service line of 15-all in this second set. This is where we will start to see some separation in the teams. Good serve from Hoydalen. Big leap from him. And this time, Wong gets his ball across court and onto the sand. And just a little bit of niggle from Kevin Wong. He's very good at doing that. He is the coolest player on the tour. Never loses his focus on the whole of the game and will chat away through the net at you all day long. Makes it very tough to play against him. And a big shot from Vegard Hoydalen. He picked the line, and you'd have to say, although he's got specs on, I wouldn't mind betting his eyes were closed just in case the ball came back off Kevin Wong. But he just got up and humped it down the line, off the sand, into the grandstand. And that's better. The Viking is back. 16-all. Great shot. Well, after all the hype of the last point, Metzger comes up with a beautiful set for his partner, Kevin Wong. And Kevin Wong just rolling the ball casually down the line and into space. And the Americans looking good here today. I wouldn't mind betting we'll see them possibly in one of the semi-finals here live on Eurosport tomorrow. We'll be picking up one of the semi-finals on Sunday. And of course, I'll bring you all the news and information from the other semi-finals and the qualification matches to get to that stage. We're in the last 16 round, and we're watching Norway's top team on the Swatch FIVB World Tour. The 8th ranked Hoydalen in your picture there, and his partner Jori André Schepperud. But they're struggling a little bit against the Hawaiians. The Honolulu-based Kevin Wong, just putting his glasses back on after that brief sand timeout, and his partner Stein Metzger. It is Hoydalen with another serve, and it's an ace. Hoydalen has waited all game to get his serve going, and finally he comes up with a jump serve ace, hitting the ball pretty close to 90 miles an hour and straight down the middle of the court, causing communication problems for the Americans, and it's a point to Norway. And finally Norway have got an advantage. They've been struggling all the way through this game to stay with the Americans, and now they find themselves a point up in set 2. Best of 3 set match here in Stavanger, and that's a great block. Schemperud picks up a huge stuff on Kevin Wong, and Kevin Wong is going to be smarting after that one. Stein Metzger just keeps his nose out of the whole deal. That was a great set again from him, but wonderful timing from Schemperud. Gets up, shuts the lights out cross court on the 2-meter tall American, and body language changes once again. The Americans are not happy. They call a timeout. No, that's good. Kevin Wong there just saying, nice set, partner. Acknowledging there that it was his mistake that cost that last point, and that's what you need to hear from your beach volleyball partner. You need to know where the responsibilities lie. And Vegard Hoydalen and Jori-André Schemperud looking a lot more relaxed now, because they're finally putting on a display for the home crowd. Now, if the Norwegians manage to level this match at 1-1, we'll go into a third and deciding set. We'll be staying for all of the action here on Eurosport. Once again, terrific beach volleyball competition brewing. And that's how close that centre court is to those small fishing houses that line this main street down alongside the harbour. Beautiful cobblestones. But at the moment they've got 2 meters of sand dumped on top of them, and that's not the only court that's here. They've got 8 courts stretching out along the harbour. But back to the action, the Norwegians with the advantage. Another good line shot from Wong. He hits that so incredibly well, and because he's got time, because the ball's in front of him, he can see you move, and if you try to run it down, he just stops the shot, chips it back onto the cross court, makes you look even more stupid than you would have looked before. Schemperud and Hoydalen maintain that 1-point advantage. 21 points is the target. Stein Metzger with the serve for the USA. Schemperud chips it cross court. That's a poor shot from him. Metzger for the swing, and he puts it down line. And again, I am the only voice left in the whole of this stadium. Absolute silence from the Norwegian crowd. And Schemperud shakes his head. He knows that was a mistake. That was a terrible, easy rainbow shot across court, and Metzger is a quality defender. He'll run that down all day long. The USA level this second set, 19 points apiece, and Metzger's on it again. There he goes. So frustrating for the Norwegians. You have to keep yourself in the point, even if Metzger has made the dig. And it's a tough dig as well. Look at the recovery from Stein Metzger, so quickly to his feet. Fantastic set to the net from Kevin Wong, and Metzger does the rest of the job. So the Norwegians briefly flattering to deceive, getting their noses in front by 2 points, but the focused Americans, Wong and Metzger, taking 3 very quick points. It is match ball now for Stein Metzger. He takes his time, tries to blot out the noise of this crowd here on the centre court. All of them screaming to try and put him off in favour of the Norwegian team. Metzger with the serve, goes to Schemperud. Schemperud, line shot, blocked by Wong. Again, Schemperud chips line, and it's down. It's down, and Metzger left floundering finally. But he shouldn't be too disappointed because it's Metzger that has come up with those great points to get them back in contention in this second set. And that's brave stuff from Schemperud. Nice pass after it comes off the block of Wong. Has a little look. Sees Stein Metzger cross court. Just lobs the ball line. So Jore André Schemperud back to the service line. There is no cap on this second set. They will keep scoring points until one team is 2 points clear, and then it's lights out, game over or set over, depending who gets that 2 clear point advantage. At the moment, it's looking in favour of the USA. Schemperud goes back and scuffs through the sand to make sure there's no big divots to put him off. It's the second match point for the USA. This time they go to Hoydalen. Hoydalen goes line. Oh, Metzger's on it. But Hoydalen gave it enough topspin to get it down. And there's Metzger sharing his thoughts with Andrea Haas. Trying to kid her, I think, that the ball was up. And I don't know if you noticed on that last play, but Wong made the service and it was Wong that sprinted into the net. They've changed up from the 50-50 play. It was up. It was up. Kevin Wong wouldn't have played it, but the whistle going a little early. And that's why Stein Metzger was having a word with the referee. 21 points apiece. Vegard Hoydalen to serve for Norway. He's bombed it way out the back. Again, the volume descends to 0. The DJ has to put on a bit of music to try and cover up the fact that the home crowd are very disappointed indeed. So the fist signal from Wong. He's talking about getting right in the face here. No, it's a net touch from Wong. Fantastic stuff here in Stavanger. This set is going all the way. Kevin Wong just trying too hard on that block, and his chest going into the net. Tension around the stadium. 22 points all. Jore André Schemperud needs a big serve here. It's a good one, but Wong has it under control. Wong nails the line shot again and indulges in a bit of celebration designed at upsetting Vegard Hoydalen. If you're going to get to either of these Norwegians, that's the guy that's going to lose it first. But Hoydalen just turns away and ignores him. But it is another match point. Wong pointing at his chest, confirming that he will sprint to the net to make the block. He's up, he's waiting for Hoydalen. And Hoydalen, big bomb across court. Brilliant play from the man they call the Viking. 32-year-old Vegard Hoydalen. Big swing across court, and Metzger was moving to the line shot. Couldn't keep the ball in play. And that's better from the Norwegian crowd. They liked that one, didn't they? I wonder why. Another service error from Hoydalen. How many times is he going to do this? At some stage, he has to trust his teammate. He has to put the ball in play. And as he looks philosophically over the top of the grandstand into this beautiful clear sky over Stavanger, that must be going through his head. If he gets another service chance, it has to go in. There's a fair way to go before we get to that stage. It's match point again to the USA. Good pass from Schemperud. Good swing cross court, but it's up by Metzger. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Well, Metzger trying to argue the point with Wong, but the rules are quite clear on that one. Once Jore André Schemperud has hit his shot, he's able to stand his ground and he doesn't have to move for anyone. Not even a charging Stein Metzger. Good decision, Andrea Haas, the first official here. Live coverage of the round of 16 in the men's event here in the Norwegian Open on the Swatch FIVB World Tour. It's 23 points all. Schemperud's on it, chance for a point. Goes line, it's up from Metzger. This is great stuff. Oh, touched by Hoydalen. Oh, it's down on the line. Terrific beach volleyball from both teams. No wonder Wong is smiling. And finally, the crowd respond big time to a rally. You just got to take your hats off to both players. Great line shots, great defence, and then a massive block from Steinmetzger on Hoydalen. Hoydalen did the right thing. That was the block to swing against. And the Americans move to their 5th match point. It will be Kevin Wong to serve. And he will try and get his 2 meters tall frame to the net. He's down as 88k, but I reckon he's lost a few kilograms over the winter. He's looking in tremendously good shape, is Kevin Wong. Now, will he sprint through to the net? No, Metzger's staying up after that last block, and it's an ace serve. There's the finish of the game, and that's disappointing for the Norwegian fans, but delight from Steinmetzger, and he very sportingly goes and celebrates the win with the crowd, and the crowd will respond to that. I think they will have a new favourite with the departure of the Norwegian team, and Schemperud tries to chase the ball down in vain. Up goes the finger from Steinmetzger. He knows he's got it, and the Americans progress through to the quarter-final at the expense of Hoydalen and Schemperud.